So adding color in ZBrush, we're going to use the same tools that we use to sculpt. We're just going to change some settings up here at the top. So I have three subtools, and what I want to do is first I want to kind of go through the material. So if you click on material and select any of the material, all of your objects change at the same time. Because they haven't had a designated material attached to them, so by default it just changes all the subtools that haven't had a material designated to them. So what I'm going to do is hold Alt, click on the head, and I'm going to click on the material, and I'm going to go to let's go to skin shade. You can see we have this white material. If we move our color picker over here, you can see that it will change the color of that material. So I'm going to go ahead and double click this side palette and remove brushes, and I'm going to open color. I'm going to grab my color and place it over here. Okay, so in order to start painting on this, one of the things we need to do is activate our brush. So you can pick whatever brush you want. I'm going to turn off Z-Add, make sure Z-Sub also is not selected, and I'm going to turn on Material. This is MRGB, Material RGB. This is just color, and M is only material. So I'm going to click on the Add or the MRGB, and I'm going to go in my Colors tab here and click Fill Object. So now whenever I so basically now this mesh here is filled with this material and this color. So now if I move this around, you see that the other tools change color because they haven't had a color or material assigned to them. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and you can either leave the material or material RGB on. I'm going to click on RGB, so now I'm only using color. I'm going to change this to a red, and now if I come over to my my object and click, I can paint onto the surface. So I'm just right clicking to paint, hold shift, and it'll smudge just like with sculpting. I can change my intensity up here. So RGB intensity, very similar to Z intensity. Z intensity is sculpting. RGB intensity is the strength of the color that you're placing down. So I can come over here and pick a green, paint, and I kind of blend them together like so. Now if I like my colors but I do not like the material on the head, I can click on M, which is only material. It's not color and material, it's just the material. And come over here and I can select, let's pick a toy plastic. You can see there's a gloss on the eyes, but I want that gloss on the skin as well. So I'm going to go over to my color palette, click Fill Object, and now you can see that material is on the head as well, but my paint application is there as well. So we can do this again. We can pick any of the materials, even the matte caps, and let's see, we'll go pick a white. There we go. And so we have a couple of other tools under the stroke. So again, we have like drag rectangle, so if we had a alpha, we could click and drag that alpha and it will lay the color down. We can change to color spray, and that will kind of spray around the color, and it will kind of offset. You can notice that this spray has some gradient dots, so that means it's going to vary the color. And then regular spray, and this is just kind of a variation of that. I think it looks like it's cycling between black and white values, where the color spray is cycling between some color hue values. And then of course we have drag dot, which is, you know, drag the alpha around and let it go, and that's where it's at. And you can change any of your alphas, and you can get some really interesting patterns and colors. Now this can also be used in conjunction with the sculpting. So if you click on Z add right now and you paint, it's going to paint thickness with color attached. So that might be something you want to do as well. But it really just depends on you and what you're working on. So now if I want to change the color of the eyes, I'm going to select on my next subtool down. I'm going to pick a color that I like, so we'll make the color of the eyes red, a deep red, like so. I'm going to pick a toy plastic because I want them really shiny. I'm going to click on the material and RGB, fill object, and now Alt click the second eye and fill object, and now both of those have color attached. So that is how you use color and apply it in ZBrush.